Now, when it comes to marine audio, we all know it takes specific gear has to hold up. Not only that, it's got to play loud because some people like playing it when the has been answering this puzzle and question for many years now. And we're going to talk about some brand new product you need to know about with the right person. We've got our guest Robert Reed joining us from Wet Sounds to break it all down. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, and it starts now. And welcome to the show. Our good guest today is Mr. Robert Reed from Wet Sounds. Rob, welcome to Connected for the first time.
Very good to be here.
Hey, I don't know if you've heard, but on this show, we like to talk about audio. And today we're talking about marine audio. And obviously with the brand like Wet Sounds, we're going to dig in deep. But before we get into that, Robert, we want to get to know you a little bit. So why don't you tell the folks, our listeners, what exactly is your role at Wet Sounds?
Well, I am the compliance manager. So basically, my role consists of quality control, product testing, and product compliance.
Well, I'll tell you, when I hear the word compliance and product testing, when it comes to products like Wet Sounds, which are literally designed and engineered for some of the harshest environments that we're going to put sound systems into, I got to say your job is probably not an easy one. What are some of the challenges or cool things that people may not know that you actually do with these products?
You did very much touch on it. The marine environment is pretty much your worst case scenario for electronics products. You're looking at high heat, pretty much consistent UV exposure for the life of the product. And then if you're in a salt environment, you're looking at salt corrosion. And if you're in the ATV market, you're looking at considerable impacts and vibration.
Yeah, so those are all very, very important items, especially when it comes to the development of some of these products. Because at the end of the day, with Wet Sounds, it's a premium brand, and I would expect that consumers expect a lot from purchasing these products. And you're right, I've seen it too many times. People kind of cheap out and buy a more entry level, speaker, for example, and I go back onto their boat the next summer, and I'm already seeing, the surround around the speaker starting to crack, or the color of the white grill starting to fade into a different color. I mean, these are all things that are very important, correct?
Yes, we're starting our product with pretty much validation of 500 hours of UV, advanced UV, so it's not like conditional exposure, it's advanced exposure. That should simulate several years of regular UV exposure. We do 500 hours of salt for hardware, because that's generally where you'll see your corrosions and stuff on the boat is on your mounting hardware, your hard parts. The UV is also something that's very important for plastic fading. You don't want your color to fade. You don't want any of your plastics or soft parts to degrade over time.
Now, the other item that I'm sure many don't think about, but very, very important, especially in power sports and marine in particular, is power consumption, right? You guys, everybody wants big bass, everybody wants loud volumes, but I mean, we're talking about a boat which most of the time has one small battery. And we all know what happens if you drain that battery out in the water. It's not a good situation. So I'm sure that's a consideration as well when it comes to amplifier technology.
It is very much a consideration. The power requirements, you kind of want to base your amplifier and your application off of your power consumption needs, or upgrade your power, your power system to match that application. Something like the Scouts and the HTM will perform really well off of a very basic charging system of one battery and a stock charging system. To go up something like the Sinisters or some of the higher output applications, you really need to upgrade, because it doesn't matter how good your product is. For using it in the wrong application, you're going to get some lackluster performance. So it is best to match those applications where possible.
Very well noted. And
yeah, the good, better, best platform sometimes doesn't exactly apply to the real world application,
right?
As far as the power consumption.
Very well. Okay. Now, my last question before we get into some new product, because I know that's why you guys tuned in here today. If you were to grade the intensity or how serious Wet Sounds takes their testing into their product, how would you describe that for someone outside looking in?
To grade it for its performance and the need of environmental testing, with a name like Wet Sounds, we do not have an option. You have to test and validate for that environment. We have to provide a long life for our customers and a good, happy experience for our customers. And that requires us to test and validate the product.
Well, I didn't doubt otherwise, but hearing it from you and for you explaining these things, I think it makes a big difference. All right, now that we've established, if you didn't know, Wet Sounds is dead serious about marine audio. We've got a new toy I want to start off with. Now, Wet Sounds has been known for having many different ranges of speakers. Recently, last few years came with the new Zero speaker. It's a higher end performance speaker, but today we're talking about a new option, guys. So if you've ever thought or wanted to get into some Wet Sounds quality in your rig, and maybe the budget wasn't quite there, well, there is a new player in town, and it's called the new Scout series from Wet Sound. So, Robert, I see that you have one there. What can you tell us off the top, just generally speaking, what makes this Scout series speaker so exciting?
When we were originally looking at this product, we wanted to find something that performed really well, that wasn't very power hungry, and hit a very good price point in the market. And we found our current offering was kind of had a hole in it, and we were intent on filling that with a good product. And along the way, we found that we could actually produce a product that really outperformed what we expected for this classic product, and also outperformed a good portion of what we can find in the market as well. So we were very excited to be able to bring this product home.
So just to define this is the new series called Scout, and it's available right now in one configuration, which is a 6.5-inch speaker. I believe you have one there. Why don't you tell us some of the specs and the performance ratings on this thing?
So the Scout 6.5 is going to give you a 30 to 60 watt power range, 60 being your peak, 30 watts being your RMS. You're going to get 87 dB sensitivity is the rating for this particular speaker. It's going to give you an IP65 rating, all of our rest of our products are all going to be marine grade and inlet protection. Granted, you don't want a power pressure washer to your diaphragm, but it's going to give you your UV, your salt spray protection, and your IP, all that environmental needs that you would want.
I would say, just looking at that, and we'll have some images up here. I mean, it is a slick looking design. I wouldn't know that was an entry level speaker until you said so, because it's got some design cues from some of the higher end speakers. Or am I dreaming?
No, it absolutely does. We pulled in some of the styling cues from our Zero line. We did some slight modifications, so we added some more spokes. We changed the color options a little bit. So we've got it in this nice dark titanium as well as a traditional marine white. A really interesting fact on the front is we have alternated the spokes with texture. So it really makes the front of the speaker pop. It is available in a RGB and a non-RGB option.
Okay, so you have a lit version and a non-lit version in both titanium and in white. Does it come with the RGB controller, or how does that work?
The RGB controller would be a secondary part. It is optional. We do have a couple of potential products for that. If you're looking for an ATV application, something like the RGB RS is in a Carling style switch. Would replace that, would be real nice, easy install. And something like this would run a 4 inboats and potentially a sub without a problem. If you're doing a marine application, a Carling switch may not be necessarily what you're looking for. If you're looking for a hideaway RGB controller with a wireless remote, something like that, we have a RGB RF version, which would give you the ability to have a wireless remote.
So I'm not the expert in marine audio, but Wet Sounds does something that I thought is really cool. I thought it's a great moment to bring this up. The way you rate your speakers and the output of the speakers based on speed. So talk us a little bit about that, and where do these Scout speakers fall in that rating?
Yeah, we were trying to find a way to properly categorize our speakers for applications and for our market. And we found the obstacle that you're overcoming with speakers to try and quantify how loud you need to go is essentially speed and the wind resistance and everything else that would come into play with that speed. The Scout speakers are going to give you a 20 mile an hour up rating. So they were going to perform really well. If you're exceeding 40 miles an hour or something like that with wind, you're going to want to amplify them to get some more output or step up to a higher output.
All right, so there you have it, folks. We're talking about the brand new to market Scout series of speakers, very aggressive price point, probably the most aggressive price point Wet Sounds has ever put out. And according to Robert here, you will be blown away by the sound and also the look and the feel of the speaker. The fitment looks amazing. Available in two different colors, white and the titanium, as well as lit and non-lit opportunities. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to touch on a couple of the other categories that we need to hear about, and especially if you're interested in marine audio. We'll be right back.
Hey, Paul with SiriusXM here, and with 3 easy steps, you can maximize your business. Number 1, make sure you have the current promotional material up. Understand the offer, make sure your team knows it. 2, have a unit on display. Set the presets to different genres so you can recommend and play the music that your customer listens to. And number 3, think about this. Most vehicles you're replacing the head unit with already has a SiriusXM tuner in it. So adding it just requires an antenna adapter, a SiriusXM tuner. It's a 30-second install and you're done. So there it is, guys. 3 easy steps to maximize every sale this season with SiriusXM.
All right, before the break, we're talking with Robert here from Wet Sounds about the brand new Scout series of speakers. This next half, I'm going to take advantage of having you here, Robert, because we want to make sure that people tuning in understand that Wet Sounds is truly a full line supplier when it comes to anything you may need within that marine audio space. I see you've changed the table around. We've got a couple of things to talk about. I want to talk about that big, bold beast all the way that I see on screen, right? I think this is honestly one of the places where Wet Sounds really thrives and has a lot of popularity, and that has to do with those CAN speakers or wake tower speakers or whatever you want to call them. Why do you think that is, Robert? Why are these things so darn popular?
The tower speakers were our original claim to fame. The Rev series was pretty much the breakout in the market for a tower speaker, and it's pretty much been embedded in our DNA ever since.
I mean, not only are they popular, you also offer them in quite a few series. So just like, I think, I don't want to call everything's a good, better, best situation because that's not always the case, but break out for us the offering when it comes to the tower speakers and how that works.
Gotcha. Okay, so we've got a couple of different options. Kind of basically depends on what type of power range you're looking for and what type of output you're looking for as well. We have the Icon series. Is going to be that's going to be your lower power. It's more or less a coaxial and a tower pod. Those are going to be to keep up with basic in-boats. That would be something for more like wake surfing, something very close to the boat, more of a lower volume. We go from there, you go to the Rev series. This particular speaker is a Rev SE. This is going to be a lot more output. With the compression horn on the front, you're going to be projecting volumes at 75 feet. Good for skiing, good for just overall a lot of volume projected out at a distance.
So is there an actual series beyond that? Because I've heard the Revs, and the Revs are crazy already.
They are. We actually moved up to the Rev HD series, and those are available in a 10 and a 12 diameter down.
I'm not gonna lie. One time, I think I was talking to Lee over there, and he had showed me a boat that they were a customer had sent in, and no word of a lie, I believe this boat had 8 Rev HD 12s on it. I'm just curious, like, that's a little bit over the top. I don't even understand the power behind that, but I mean, that is huge sound. If you've never heard the Rev series speakers before, I don't want to make it sound like it's just about volume because these things are crystal clear. My advice, do not listen to them anywhere closer than 30 feet, would you say? I don't know what the exact ideal distance is, but definitely don't go too close. You need a little bit of space to really audition these things.
Yeah, well, the application is they are made to produce that sound out for a skier or someone behind the boat at that 50 yards where you really normally wouldn't have it.
Right, exactly.
You move up from the SCs and go to the HDs. So the big bump from the HDs, other than the 12-inch diameter of the larger model, is they are a little bit more sound quality.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They have a little bit wider frequency range. They'll drop a little bit better in the mid-bass range as opposed to the SEs and the conventional revs. So in an application where you're looking for a little bit more stronger mid-bass, a little bit more mid-bass presence, the HDs would give you more of that application.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. I mean, whatever sound you're looking for, whatever budget you're looking for, Wet Sounds is pretty much dialed in exactly the type of output and specs that you would need to build a system on your boat when it comes to the wake tower speakers. Now, quickly moving on to the amplifiers. Obviously, because you have different series of speakers that require different power, there's also different amplifiers. And in this scenario, I know for sure this is kind of a good, better, best situation. So why don't you walk us through, Robert, the amplifier selection from Wet Sounds?
Gotcha. So you're going to start off with the HTM series. It's going to be the smaller footprint. It's also going to be the lower down the power range. These are going to give you 85 watts per channel at 4 ohm. You can bridge them and punch up in a little bit higher category with some other speaker applications if you wanted. You move from these and you go up into the Syndicate, which is going to be the SYN. Those are going to get you 125 watts per channel at 4 ohm. Same thing, you can start bridging those and move up into running a pair of towers and some higher output subwoofers.
But that just in that jump alone, you just went up in power by 50% in that one step, right? But I have seen the Syndicate series, and they are a larger footprint, however, and require maybe some auxiliary power to help support that. Would you not say?
Yeah, the HTMs you can get away with a basic charging system, a single battery application, good for power sports or a basic boat application. And there again, if you pair them with something like the Scouts, the power rating is right where you need to be to get most performance. So great application there. But if you're wanting to run some Revos or some Zeros for in boats, you're going to need that power. And at that point you're bridging a Syndicate or jumping up to the full big dog, the Sinister.
Okay, so let's talk about the Sinister. I mean, you know, if you have those 12-inch Revo HDs, you're probably going to need some Sinister amps. Am I not right?
Absolutely. They're the only thing that's really going to get you in that power range to drive some of the higher output towers. It's going to be your biggest footprint amplifier, so you do have to find some real estate, and you do have to make sure your charging system is up to the task. So if you're going to run a full Sinister system, you better have a minimum of 2 batteries and hopefully an upgraded stator or charging system in some way.
And what kind of power are we talking about at that Sinister level?
That's 185 watts per channel.
So again, another 50%. So basically, every time you jump up a series, you're going to get 50% more power. It's going to be a bigger footprint, but like you said, Robert, be aware. And any of you know, you installers out there who specialize in this, or if you're a consumer tuning in, be aware of the power consumption. That's going to be the piece that a lot of people overlook. But if you want your system to perform at its best, choose the right amp to go with the right speakers and make sure that the auxiliary power is there to support that. All right, so HTM, Syndicate, Sinister, good, better, best, 50% up in power every time. That's the breakout of the amplifiers. And I would imagine, you know, same thing as far as your department with testing these amplifiers. Anything you'd like to share with us that maybe people didn't know?
We do the gambit. So these are getting salt spray, UV. UV for an amplifier, they're mainly contained in a cabin submerger. It's where they're getting direct UV, but we're still testing to 500 hours. They do get the ingress protection. So these are IP65 electronics. So the amplifier is IP65 rated. It's got gasketing and sealing all the way around it. All the hardware, that's the tricky part. So your salt spray to validate your coatings on your hardware and your powder coat, that's where you really have to test and validate your product. That's where we're getting to 500. Salt corrosion exposure.
Amazing. Last but not least, source units is the other final piece that kind of tied the system together. And all boats are different, but Wet Sounds has different opportunities to get that source unit in there. So what's the breakout look like for source units?
Source units, we do have several options there as well. Depending on your application, we have the MC round, which is going to be a round gauge style radio. That's going to be more entry level, a very basic display. Still going to give you your 30, 35 watts per channel out. One pair of pre-outs. You start moving up the food chain a little bit, you get the MC5. The MC5 is going to give you front, rear, and a selectable third output. It's going to give you your same 35 watts by 4. It does go up a little bit to a little bit nicer backlit display. Still not,
of course.
So if you move up Beyond this, you go to the MC2. The MC2 is where you start getting into a color display. There again, you're still going to have 3 outs. You're going to have your normal power output on the speaker level out as well. It's going to get, those do have, all these source units have USB input. They have aux input as well. But when you get into that MC2, you start getting the color readout, the color display. Above the MC2 is the MC20. So it's going to give you all the features that you got out of the MC2 with the color display, aux, USB, Bluetooth, all those functions, as well as NEMA. So that's going to give you a 2K ability. So if you're wanting to integrate in with an existing MFD, like a Garmin or a Simrad, that's going to give you the ability to have those that function pop up on your MFD. So it's seamless and controlled.
Yeah, I mean, NIMIA is a big upgrade. If you're running a NIMIA network on your vessel, then obviously take advantage of that, because that gives you just another level of information and integration into your boat. One thing I want to mention here is the power ratings seem to be pretty even across the board. Would you recommend those new Scout speakers be played off those source units, and that would be fine?
Yes, they are perfectly matched for this output of a basic head unit. That was when we were doing our testing and validation, try and see what else what we were sparring with in the market. That's what we were basically doing. We were looking at the source unit paired with the Scouts to see where we sat and where we could perform.
And not to be confused, they will sound better if you put power. Like if you put it on one of those HTM, it will sound better. You're getting more, but they will play really nice with the radio. Maybe that's a good starting point, and tell the customer, hey, you want to upgrade later and add an amplifier? That's certainly going to be an upgrade, and you will audibly hear the difference. Rob, thank you so much for spending time with us today. My last question for you is, especially with the role that you have, what message do you have for marine audio enthusiasts that could really give them comfort in knowing that their investment is sound if they decide to go with Wet Sounds?
Best information I can share is we do live this marine environment. We do a lot of market research, which is a really big benefit for some of us to be able to play around the boats and get that exposure. But we live and breathe this. We know the market that we're trying to spend time in. We design our products with that in mind. So UV, salt spray, exposure. We know what the marine environment, AT environment does to electronics, and that's what we design.
Amazing. If you want more information about anything you've seen on today's show, make sure you hit up the official website found at wetsounds.com. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button. Better yet, hit the notification bell so you know when we come to air with brand new mobile electronics content. Robert, thank you so much for joining us today. Your invaluable information. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.